bringing you the best in country and Irish music. This is your station, irishcountrymusicradio.com.
And there you have it. That is, of course, Mr. David Connor, and couldn't have come at a better time. Well, would you believe it? I couldn't have arrived at a better time for Mr. David Connor either, because he's on the air here with us as we speak. How are you, David? Are you well tonight?
How are you getting on? I'm great. I'm good and happy and anticipating 9:30.
9:30, of course, yes. 9:30 Irish time tonight, of course. Mr. David Connor is going to be on Glór Tíre. Yes, it's his show tonight. And who was your mentor this year, David?
My mentor is Michael English, great man himself.
Well,
brilliant, lovely person, ultimate professional and brilliant entertainer. Very talented man, but he's a great mentor because very easy to talk to, always available to chat and give advice, that type of thing. And you'd always look up to a person like that, particularly an entertainer who's done it already. He's there 20 years now, I think, and he's performed on many a stage and has loads of experience, and he's very generous with his time and his advice.
Well, actually, would you believe it? I think it's longer than, I think it could be 25 years or more. Well, of course, we'll be giving away Michael English's age, and we all know he's only around about 30, so we won't say too much there then, No.
I'll leave that for you.
And how, tell me, David, did you become, give us a little bit of background into how you were picked, or how yourself and Michael were paired up as mentor and contestant?
Well, basically, I heard an advertisement on the radio on Midwest, and my mother who said it to me. She said, Michael English is looking for a contestant for this year's show. And she said to me, maybe you should apply for it. And I thought about it briefly, quickly, and I said, actually, look, I'll throw in the application anyways, and, we'll see how it goes. And this year, 2020, I actually had released 2 singles. So that was one of the things in the application, was if you had any single or anything that you could send on. So I sent on that, but he did like them. But he would have known me to see Michael from going to dances around the place, and I would have talked to him a few times, like everybody would. He's a very friendly guy, and so he just know me from there. And then when he put the face with the song, he just said that he felt you were the right contestant. So that's how it worked.
All right. And of course, as you say, he's been a great help to you all along as well there with the bits of advice. It's a little bit different, of course, this year. Other years, Michael and yourself, you'd be able to make an appearance at Michael's gigs and the like of that, but this year, that's kind of gone by the wayside.
Well, it's very much now sort of probably social media driven, really, and because we can't obviously meet anyone, or we can't be in the presence really of anybody as such, outside of the studio. So, and even in the studio, as be socially distant and all that sort of thing. And the one big thing as well, unfortunately, this year is there isn't any duet as such, as you have noticed from the first 2 nights. I'm not giving away anything by saying that, because there was no duet the first 2 nights, and that's unfortunately because of social distance, thing. So. Yeah, and apart from the actual the studio and the keys and Glór Tíre and all that, the big thing would be that normally the contestant would be able to, go around with their mentor every now and again to a dance or two, and they'd be invited up to the stage to sing a few songs and hand around their flyers. And apart from that, get to know the people, get to know, who might vote for them, or get to know their personality, and to sort of. Just give them an opportunity to get to know you and see, do like what they hear, I suppose. So it's very different this year, because it's sort of harder to get to know people. That's the big thing, and just get it out, get your music out there, and get your personality out there, and that type of thing. So that's the big difference,
Now, you're saying about getting to know people. Well, we're going to get to know Mr. David Connor here in the next couple of minutes anyway. So tell us, David, you're from near Claremorris and in the county of Mayo. Would that be right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm just outside Claremorris, a small village called Benyahanky. And it's a very small little population of a village. But Claremorris is only 7 or 8 minutes away. Like, so that's where we went to school and socialised, and of course, Mac William was there too, so I would have been regular there. But I would have grew up there. And when I was younger, I would have got into music, for example. Would have been that there was a variety show taking place in the town hall. Town hall in Claremorris is a sort of down to the years, it's been a popular venue and it's sort of a well-known venue. But an idea was pinned that by a local guy called Peter Gann, a good friend of mine. That he wanted to have a local, a youth variety show, and there would be singing in it, there would be dancing in it, there would be also a sort of cabaret act, and what it was, in conjunction with was, I was also in the No Name Club at the time, which is a youth club, which is all around the country, and back in them days, there was a cabaret, like an All-Ireland cabaret show, where, you'd basically have a certain allocation of time, and you'd use it up by singing, sort of cabaret dancing, singing. So the idea was that we'd bring that show and then we'd expand on it and bring more people in. And that's what he did, because there was loads of talent around the town. Getting back to my point, was singing was sort of my thing, and it was my first time standing on the stage. And we did it 3 nights, and then we did it the following year, and we did it again a couple of years later. And then I just started sort of playing in bars in a 3-piece band, we were called Southern Revival, just locally. And we do mix of everything from country to rock and roll to folk to whatever, really. And had a couple of guest appearances in the last couple of years. I performed before Finbar Fury in the Town Hall, Claremorris, in 2017. The Kane family in Carolyn Strand, Matt Kane, Sean Kane, and of course Loris, they have a family concert at Clare Galway there after Christmas every year, and I got to sing 2 songs at that. And there was, and then Eunice Moore last March, I was a special guest to her. She was actually launching her band as well. So that was a sort of background with it. I was sort of doing guest spots every now and again, and it started off in Claremorris in the Town Hall.
So that's where the career of Mr. David Connor started off then. And but of course, now you're involved, or you were involved a little bit in the arts as well, to a certain degree.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that then.
Well, I went to after I left school, I went to art college in Limerick City, and I did my degree there, 4 years there, and I ended up doing a HDip, and I had a great time there, and I went teaching then for a few years. I was teaching there 6 years, mostly around Mayo, and so that was my art background. I suppose I was a good few years, in that area before I went teaching at all. So Limerick, I find it was a great city. I really enjoyed it. It's very cultural, music and art. It's big there, you know what I mean? And it's a great place. Really, really enjoyed it.
And yeah. So the art and would have been, well, of course, if you were a teacher now, it would be a completely different sort of a thing. But that was a few years ago then that you were was an art teacher, and it was 6 years you were saying you were teaching then, or leaving cert.
Yes, about 3 years ago now, since I changed career, and going on 4, actually, well, no, 3 years. And I then went into the civil service after that, and I'm currently now working in a painted decor store in Claremorris, Albany, painted decor, and so I'm going to retail.
God, you have a fairly varied, shall we say, varied career so far anyway.
I'm a trier.
And well, of course, you see, with the art background anyway, at least you'd be able to say to people, in the painting and decorating field, you'd be able to give some advice, no, look at that. I seriously though now, art would be a big part of me as well. I would have been
I suppose growing up, I would have been creative, be drawing and painting and things like that. And even when I was, even up to the last couple of years, I'm still doing it. I'm still painting windows at Christmas and stuff, and things like that. So I'm still active, doing little bits and pieces, and never really leaves you, I suppose, as such. But the art, the big thing was, college was sort of get you to think creatively and maybe a little bit outside the box at times, whatever. But even with even towards the singing and maybe ideas I'd have with songs, and no, it doesn't have to be drastic, but a subtle change in the song, if you do a cover, I've done 2 or 3 covers now. I always have my own way of doing things, I suppose. Maybe that's to do with my background, I don't know, but so far so good, I think. So I'm happy enough. It suits me, this experience in Limerick and the general art background. I think I met plenty of friends all down south there, friends in Limerick and Tipperary and Wexford indeed, and all around there,
Well, a good part of the country is Wexford.
That'd be southeast. Southeast.
That'd be my own part of the country, you see.
We don't want about the Mayo, I tell you. Definitely not the sunny southwest.
Well, of course, it'd be a little bit different in the climate would be slightly different.
It's very different.
Yeah.
When it's good, we enjoy it, I put it that way.
Actually, there was friends of mine up there from around Blacksod, and I remember different times you'd be driving out towards Blacksod and there'd be all these humps and hollows in the road, and I said, I remember saying to him one time, would just not be like the lads down below in Wexford and just push them all together and make a mountain out of them, make the road flat and not have but it is a fabulous part of the country, if a little bit on the bad tempered side of the Atlantic Ocean, so can get rough. But and so apart from Michael English, then what other on the Irish scene then, who would have been when you were growing up? Who would you have liked, shall we say, on the?
Well, my dad was a huge country music fan, Irish country music, and Big Tom was the king in this house, as he was in any house. But I would have had a picture with Big Tom back in '93 as a child, being at a dance with him, and a picture with him there, and we've been to so many dances and concerts, and even from my dad's 50th, we had a bit of a surprise from him, because of course Michael Collins, who's on Midwest up here, he's from Clamars. Yeah, he's from Clamars, and he was a great fan of Big Tom, of course, and wrote songs from him as well, and there was a link there all the time. But I got in contact with Michael to say, could we get Big Tom to leave a message on the answering machines I was in to say happy birthday to Dad, and it was a big surprise, and it was nice. It was, he was a gentleman. It's a small thing, but it was a big thing, if you know what I mean. And he sort of, we always looked up from the way up, but then when we actually got to meet him, he was a pure gentleman. So we really liked him. Big Tom's music was played, and it's still played morning, noon and night. He had a great presence about him, and we're still watching, DVDs and old tapes from him. So yeah, he was a big one, definitely. And then I like, of course, Declan Ernie. I mean, his songs were so lively. We're always into him, and Patrick Feeney and Mick Flavin and Mike Denver, and all just like country music, Irish country, and I like some American country as well. And yeah, I like it all.
And who would you like now, who would be, a favourite of your own now on the American scene then? Who would have been, or who would you strive to emulate, shall we say?
Well, I sort of like, different types of American country. I would say the song that I did, the first song I released was a Zach Brown song. I know some of the more, I would say, modern country, some people might like it or that type of thing, but this Zach Brown, I think he's brilliant. I think he caters for everybody's taste. He doesn't claim to be out country, but a lot of his stuff, like the harmonies, the way the songs are arranged, are brilliant. I think they're exceptional musicians, but they have lovely songs. I like him, like Alan Jackson, like Gareth Brooks, of course. Everyone has songs from Gareth Brooks that they're just, he's a legend really in so many ways. But Glenn Campbell, I think, and George Strait. I really like Glenn Campbell. George Strait had so many hits, Glenn Campbell, George Strait, Gareth Brooks, all them sort of artists, and for bigger, for even more, even the likes of the Eagles, I know they weren't strictly country, but I like their sound. Alabama is a band I like too. I've done the song by them. That's my next release, actually, the song by Alabama. It's called Down Home. I think they're a lovely blend. And the Eagles, as I said. And finally, I'd probably say John Fogerty. Queen's Clearwater Revival. I think that man has wrote more hits than anyone. And he's still going. I went to see him, actually, in the Three Arena. About 2 or 3 years ago, and it was one of the best concerts I've ever seen. I thought he was absolutely unreal. But he wrote a lot of country songs as well. And then you had Elvis Presley.
Well, the king, baby.
Who didn't like him, you know what I mean? So I went to Graceland there about 3 or 4 years ago too, and I just you don't really realise it until you go over there how big he still is, like. It's just incredible, like. And then when you go looking into him, like, he was just a one-off, you know. So he was very much country and sort of blues, and I look into a lot of that sort of stuff, you know. So there wouldn't be any one particular one. I like listening to a lot of different things and picking up different bits. But yes, John Fogerty. And then from an Irish perspective, also, I know I've gone through the Irish country music artists, but Liam Riley, who recently passed away from Bagatelle, he was a real hero of mine too. I think as a songwriter, I think he was one of Ireland's best. I just think that the songs they wrote, I mean, Boston Road, Streets of New York, Trump Card, Shaking Right In, Summer in Dublin was always my party piece. I was ever asked to sing a song at a party or whatever, you know. I think Liam Riley, I think he was a legend, really, you know. So I have a sort of a range of interests, you know, country, yes, folk, you know. Then you have the likes of John Fogerty too, and Elvis and whatever, so that's what I'd be sort of into.
Yeah,
I don't know if I had a list there.
Well, I tell you, I
started rambling there for a second.
Oh, no. But you've listed a great list there now, both in great performers and also in great songwriters. Songwriting seems to be I mean, you've mentioned songwriting as such there. And would that be a way you'd like to go yourself, or have you any aspirations?
I'd be doing bits and pieces there, but like Liam Riley, really, from an Irish perspective, you know what I mean. I'm not going to try and talk about him, you know. I wouldn't do him justice, really. But from what I looked at him, you know, he wrote songs that were sort of based on, you know, immigration and talking about Irish people abroad and Irish people at home and that sort of. Always had a story. He always told a story. Great story. He actually he got 2 number ones in Ireland, and there was no chorus in the song. He holds the record for that. He would have said it himself. Fly to the Earns and
Streets of New York.
Streets of New York, yeah. They were the 2 number ones that had no chorus. But he always wrote a story. He just started writing. And he just, I listened to him, you know, talking about it. It's so interesting, like. And then, equally then, from the American point of view, even though it wasn't strictly country, but John Fogerty, no, he wrote country songs as well, Bad Moon Rising and things like that, you know, and Cotton Fields and things, you know. He was from California, and he wrote songs about the Deep South, so, you know, and it was always about rivers and about the land and about the moon and about, you know what I mean. So he was writing about, you know, his vision of a place that he actually wasn't even from.
Yeah.
But he had the voice for it, and he, you know. So it was a story. It was a story, but it was a story of what he'd seen and what he imagined it would be. And Liam Riley, he was the same. He was telling the story of immigration and Irish people and this type of stuff. And, you know, that's what I'd be looking at in songwriting. I'd always try and visualise a story and imagine a story. And that's what goes into the country, because, you know, the country music is based on storytelling, really, as such, you know, and that's what I like about it. So, you know, sort of ideas, I suppose.
Yeah, because I've actually had the privilege of interviewing Liam Riley himself now, you know what I mean, as you say, sadly departed, and a big loss to the Irish music industry, you know, and yeah, he did speak, I mean, all about, about the writing of songs and everything else, like, I mean, so.
It was very interesting.
Oh, very interesting, man, yeah. And
very interesting, man.
7 number ones in Ireland he wrote.
Oh, he did, yeah, but he was I read up recently there, I think he has 4, if not 5, All-Ireland titles for both accordion as well, and I think he did some dancing as well, step dancing as well. So he was known far and wide even when he was younger. Just a raw talent, like.
Yeah. Now, you have a new single you were, I believe.
I do,
yeah.
It's called Down Home, and it's originally from the band called Alabama. And it's going to be on the show tonight. I'm going to be singing it, and I'm going to be releasing it then at the end of the week. So you'll have hold of it by then.
So,
you might give it a spin for it. You know, right?
So anyone that's watching Glór Tíre tonight, of course, like, I mean, just have Irish country music going in the background as well. You know yourself. You can, you can use. You have 2 ears. You can use both of them. So,
that's it.
So, and,
but it's a nice song. It's a lovely song about it. Everyone can sort of relate to it. It's about down home and about the characters and about the places you remember, reminiscing maybe a bit. You know, that maybe took for granted maybe when you were younger, and then now you're looking back on this and you're sort of. I like them sort of, you know, visualizations and sort of reminiscing back, and it's a nice song. They're a brilliant band, Alabama. We've done a little bit of a twist in it. It was recorded, it was produced by Wayne Thoreau there in Ballyroad Media.
Oh, well, that's good anyway.
And Wayne is absolutely excellent, like he's brilliant.
Oh, a very good man, and you're to have behind you.
Oh yeah, very talented, brilliant. Makes life very, very easy, and again, like Michael, like thoroughly professional and just knows what to do and how to explain it, and he's telling the ideas, and that's it. You know, so does a brilliant job, and he's done a nice job, really brilliant job with this track as well. So I'm sure it'll be there next year. No, for you.
I'm looking forward. Definitely give it a spin. Looking forward to that. Now, David, when you as the fella says, did you lick it up off the stones, or was there music in your, was there music in your parents or in the family before? Grandparents or anywhere like that? Was there any music or?
Not really. Not really good. My father would be always singing here, you know what I mean, and he'd sort of fancy himself as a singer, but I don't know, I'm not sure, but he likes country and he would have been always singing, so that's how he would have got into the music in one sense.
Yeah.
And Mum likes music too, but they wouldn't have been, not into music as such. But my sister actually went to Limerick, she did Irish music and dance in the college there in Limerick as well, so she's into the arts as well, you know. So, I don't know, maybe just two of us there, and I went, I was into art myself, so I don't know what it is, but maybe we were just sort of into performance, I suppose, but it didn't come from anywhere as such. No, not really. Just really, what I remember from a child is Big Tom, being on the house in Midwest and country music, and country music was the big thing in this house. There's no doubt about it. And we went to, when we were younger, we were brought to the dances and we were brought, listening to it on the radio. And that's what I would say my background in music would be, is listen to it, That's the biggest say about Irish country, was that it was really rare, and that's probably why I have an affiliation for it. And then I heard a bit of the Johnny Cashes, and now that's another man I forgot to mention there, Johnny Cash, or you could go on, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there's so much talent back the years, in the country scene and all, both in Ireland and in Nashville, the US and all that, there is.
Well, I went over on holidays actually to Nashville, and there was a time Merle Haggard, which was just after passing away, and I was there for the 4th of July. It was around that time he passed away, but the honky tonk bars and all that, they were playing Merle Haggard, and of course Johnny Cash and the Highwaymen. I'm a big fan of the Highwaymen too.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson, he's an incredible songwriter. He wrote
crazy.
Willie Nelson is really probably the fact that he's wrote some serious songs, They actually say that one of Elvis Presley's last song he ever sang before he passed away was "Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain." So he was big into Willie Nelson as well, and of course, so that's I always listen to all that sort of stuff,
Now, I have a few people looking to say hello to you, David, and to wish you the very best of good luck. And
thank you very much. Hello,
there's Valerie Wild is listening in, and she just...
Hello, Valerie.
Yeah, and over there in New Brunswick, on the far side of the pond, as the fella says, we have a Lev and Gloria Jackman are listening in. And
hello to everyone. How are you getting on?
Yeah, and Breda Coffee. She said, could you please wish David Connor the very best of luck, and he couldn't ask for a better mentor.
Yeah, Breda. Thanks very much, Breda.
Breda's a legend in her own right, like, you know, so...
yeah.
And, of course, Ron Hinsley is over there in Wolverhampton, on the other side of the pond, as the fella says. Well, the other pond, the smaller pond. And Maureen Burke is up there in Leitrim. She wouldn't be too far away from yourself.
No, absolutely not, no.
And then Nicola Arnold is listening in, and she has the whole crew there as well. There's Sonny, there's Kaylee, there's Minnie Gigi, otherwise known as Ian, and there's Aoife. So they're all listening in as well, and they're looking to wish you luck as well. And
thanks very much. I really appreciate it.
And JP on the station here is listening in, JP McNeilis. He's our tech wizard on the station, and he said to wish you luck as well.
Oh, thanks very much. Great. It's great messages to be getting.
And
excited on with that.
Oh yeah, well, you know, I mean, and they're from all over. We even have Peter Ryle, of course, is on the far side. Well, he's over there in London. He's one of our presenters as well. Do you know Peter? Maybe you do.
Yeah, I know. I heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Peter is wishing you good luck as well.
Thanks, Peter.
But we're going to let you get in the snacks and get the drinks and all ready and get your feet put up and get ready for the Glortira show, which is on in a little over an hour, of course. Yeah. So anyone that's wanting to see what David Connor looks and sounds like, other than just talking and all that, well, very simple. TG Carr, and that is David Connor. He's on tonight with Mr. Michael English.
And the last thing I just said, sorry, no, it's just
I was going to, yeah, no problem at all.
Thanks to yourself, Seamus, for asking me on the show. And just one last thing I have to say is just as regarding the voting, because it's all on the Glortira app this year, and it's if I could ask people to download the Glortira app from the App Store if you have an iPhone, or from Google Play if you have an Android phone. And what you do is, once you've downloaded it, you enter your email address, and then you enter any password of your choice, and what you'll see is all the pictures of the contestants will come up, and if you could click on my picture, that would be great. And the first 5 votes are free, and we're going to have that as the bonus, but I would love to encourage people to please give me the vote. But tune in tonight, have a look at it. If you like what you hear, please give me the vote. And thanks very much.
No problem at all. And it's been great to have you, and thanks for dropping by, or well, for taking the call, shall we say. And the very best of good luck to you, David, from all of us here on Irish Country Music Radio. And of course, if you happen to do very well and progress and get to the final, or even win, well, you'll make sure and drop by again for an old chat with us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Of course.
Definitely. So that's David Connor, and thanks a million, David, for, as I say, for coming on, and the very best of good luck. So David Connor in Glortira, as he was saying, download the app, and if you like David, definitely give him the votes. There's 5 free votes there. So
5 free votes, yeah.
Yeah. So, and of course you can get other votes there and pay for them and all, but there's 5 free votes.
That would be great. 5 free votes first to start off with.
Well, if you got enough 5 free votes, do it very well for you.
Yeah, no, that's what we're just asking. If we can get the 5 free, and then after that, is the bonus. But I'm happy, just 5 free, great.
Lovely. Well, thanks a million, David. And this is David, and as she's walking away, as he's about to hang up on the phone. But thanks a million, David. Thank you very much.
Thanks, talk to you again.
No problem at all. Thank you.
But every thought she had I heard from across the room. We were standing face to face, I couldn't find the words to say, give me one more move. I don't But don't you let regret take place of the dreams you have to chase, and ask her to dance. Oh, come on, son. You might fall down on your face, roll the dice and have some faith. Don't be falling in love as she's walking away, when your heart won't tell your mind to tell your mouth what it should say. You may have lost this battle, live to fight another day. Don't be falling in love as she's walking away. And you might fall down on your face, roll the dice and have some faith. Don't be falling in love as she's walking away, when your heart won't tell your mind to tell your mouth what it should say. You may have lost this battle, live to fight another day. Don't be falling, falling, falling in love as she's walking away.
Bringing you the best in country and Irish music. This is your station, irishcountrymusicradio.com.